A long time ago in internet time, I pre-ordered from FreedomPop their sleeve for iPod Touches. And you have to know which iPod Touch you have so that you get the appropriate sleeve for it. The sleeve is a cellular MiFi spot that provides 4G service at this time through Clear Cellular, and the rumors are that FreedomPop is going to switch to Sprint. So we'll see how that goes. I went to FreedomPop's website and checked for my location. They said I had coverage, so I ordered it. And it came a couple of days ago. You power it on by pressing this button, and you get some flashing lights. If you've powered it on, you have to hold it on for a couple of seconds. You got some flashing lights which indicate activity. And if you have connectivity, you get a green power light and a green connection light. And you may be able to see that I have a green power light and a red connection light. So I have no connectivity here in my home. So it flashes occasionally to show that it's looking, but it's amber flashing or red flashing to tell me that I've got no connection. I went to Clear Cellular's website, and they have a very nice coverage page. They show where they have coverage, and they tell me I do not have coverage here at my home. But they provide a map that shows where their cell towers actually are. So I found a nearby cell tower with a parking lot, and I drove over to the parking lot and turned on my device, and I got 2 green lights. And I had connections at 4G speeds. When I got the device, I charged it, which took 2 or 3 hours, I don't remember. And then I was putting my iPod Touch in, and it is a secure connection. And I realized it does not provide an electrical connection, and they say that in their quick start instruction sheets. You power the sleeve with a little mini USB port, but you power your touch with the Apple connector. So when you charge your sleeve, you do not charge your touch, and vice versa. But what that meant was, although they want you to use it clipped on, it doesn't have to be clipped on. The sleeve provides a bit of security in that it does not broadcast its name. And I like that. The name is on a tag inside along with the password. So you turn on your touch, you have to type in the name of the MiFi connection and then type in the password. It's either WEP or WPA. So that means it's not going to be an obvious Wi-Fi hotspot when you're walking around with it. And I think that's a nice piece of security. But the other thing that interested me is, because it doesn't have to be attached to your touch, this is a MiFi network for all your Wi-Fi devices. So when I went out to the cell tower that gave me 4G connections, I used it on my touch I used it beside my touch. I had it laying on the car seat beside me, and the touch connected fine. There are ads. You get 500 megabytes free, but you get ads on your touch, and I'll show you on the video what kind of screen space those ads take up. You can click on an X and the ad goes away. But not only did I connect my touch over 4G, I got my MacBook Air out and logged on to the device and got 4G speeds on the MacBook Air, and I'll show you that connection as well. This interests me because I live in the San Francisco Bay Area, and my expectation is that we're going to have a major earthquake. It happens that I got the FreedomPop sleeve this weekend after days of news about Hurricane Sandy devastating the Northeast. And that's exactly my desired use for a cellular-based Wi-Fi hotspot. If we have a disaster here, I want to be able to get on, not to make phone calls necessarily. If I can, that's fine, and I can use VoIP on my touch. But it gives me web access to Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, Google+, and all the other sites where you can alert people that you're okay, even if you can't get a phone call out and they can't get a phone call in. So that's my interest in this. The cost is $99 for the sleeve, and you get 500 megs free. FreedomPop's website isn't very good. Somewhere on there, they talk about how you get more out of their site than 500 megs free, and I can't find it. I found it somewhere, but I can't find it now. So I'm going by my recollection. Forgive me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure if I am, someone will point it out, and I'll update that in the notes, along with providing you with the URL to FreedomPop. But my recollection is for $17 or $17.99 a month, you get 2 gigs, and for $35 a month, you get 5 gigs. I've asked them by email if I can sign up for a month when I need it and let it drop, but I haven't gotten an answer yet. And I sent that email 24 hours ago, so I'm not unhappy with having no response so far. So my goal in this device is to have a Wi-Fi point that I can use in an emergency, but it's also available to me free. Whenever I'm out walking around with my iPod Touch, I can get in to the internet with my own hotspot if I have connectivity through Clear. So you need to check for coverage in your area and coverage where you travel to see if Clear will connect with you. This is not a substitute for a phone. It's an emergency connectivity device for my uses. So I'll keep it charged, which is not a burden because I'm a ham radio operator. I keep my ham radios charged. I keep my cameras charged. So I have a routine to make sure that I get everything charged that I need to most of the time. So I'm planning on keeping this handy and using it on occasion. It is not cheaper than a cell phone. It is not a cell phone. It's not a replacement for a cell phone. That's not what this is for when you have it with an iPod Touch. FreedomPop also sells dongles for your laptops so that if you're traveling, you can have 4G access. I didn't look at their plans for those, what they cost, how much their coverage costs, and how much the dongles cost, because that's not what I'm interested in. And I don't need a dongle with the sleeve because it provides me with a hotspot on the go whenever I want. I've provided at the end of this video some photos of the lights. The lights do not show. You can see the green light here in my house, but if you go outside, even in the shade, I cannot see the light. And in the sun, I can't see the light. So I'm going to show you photographs of the device in the shade and the sun, and you can't tell if you've got connectivity. You can't tell if the device is powered on. When the device is clipped to your iPod Touch, for some reason they gave an outside button so that you can press the outside button on top for power, and they gave you outside buttons for volume. And as far as I can tell, they're not really necessary since it doesn't cover those slots, but it does give you an outside button that you can push, so if you've got gloves on, it makes it easier, I'm sure, to access those 3 buttons. It has a hole in the back for your camera eye to show through. So I'm not sure how many iPod Touches they make sleeves for. If they make sleeves for various kinds, you need to know which iPod Touch version you have. I don't know how I knew which one I had. You know, they all look the same to me except for cameras on some models and no cameras on other. So you need to know what camera, what iPod Touch you have when you order. Or maybe they only make one sleeve. I can't find that on the website. So what follows next are the photos and then videos of showing the 4G speed on the iPod Touch and the MacBook Air. The speed is great when you've got a connection. I don't have a connection at home. Here's a photograph of it in the sun. You get some reflections from the buttons, but you can't tell which one is on. Here it is in the shade. There's a little hint in the photo that the green light is on, but I couldn't tell it at all when I was actually out there. Another photo in the shade. Here in the shade of the car in the parking lot, and I can almost tell that both green lights are on, but here with it in the sun, it's totally washed out and you can't tell. I've got it hooked up now to the iPod Touch. There is no mechanical connection. It's not clipped in to it. The sleeve is laying in the seat of the car beside me. You can see how much real estate the ad takes up. If I had touched that red X on the side, it would have gone away, but I wanted to see what the behavior of it was, and it scrolls up a little, but then it drops back down, and I can get access to the video. Interestingly, when I played the video, the ad went away, so I got to see the video full screen on the iPod Touch. I was tempted, by the way, to leave the sound on for the video because it shows a woman's baby carriage rolling off into the traffic, and they're playing yakety sax, which Benny Hill made famous in all of his comedy clips. And then you hear the Russian driver yelling something in Russian that I'm sure was appropriate. The video plays out. I then go back to the original page. The ad pops back up again, and it scrolls down to the bottom of the screen. When I click back to the other page, it pops up immediately. Go to a new web page and it loads quickly, as you can see on the blue bar on the browser. And the ad is gone. I don't know what the policy is on the ads, whether if I'd clicked to make it go away, I'd have had a new one pop up. But you know, here I am without any ad on it at all for my free 500 megs of access. Next we go to the MacBook Air. Again, no ad on the screen, and I've loaded Ars Technica, and I'm going back and forth between various pages. You can see the blue bar at the browser window showing how quickly these pages load. You scroll quickly, go to new pages quickly. The 4G connection there in that parking lot was excellent. Stop the presses. I got an update. Before I got this video rendered and uploaded to YouTube, I checked my email, and I had a reply from Samantha at FreedomPop. She tells me that you can buy $17.99 for 2 gigs a month and cancel it anytime because you don't have a contract with them. The only problem is you have to cancel before your next billing cycle to avoid having it roll over every time. So there's the answer to that quick question. She also gave me a URL to other pages on their website dealing with the information that I said I couldn't find. So I'll drop that into the notes to this video down below the video screen.